Hello, I'm Toycat and welcome back to our third channel walk and talk video. Today I'm just doing a little bit of a test because someone said I could get much better footage at night with my GoPro if I turn down the frame rate. So today we've got a slightly lower frame rate, but hopefully some better night shots. I'm going to be going in and out of various lighting conditions, and that includes walking around London, a big city, the biggest city in fact, in the UK and Western Europe. That involves walking around a very big city at night time. Something that many people tell you you're crazy for, and that's something I want to discuss because in fact, you know, this video series, this walk and talk, people find fascinating because they can't presently walk around London. Either they don't live here and, you know, traveling to here is illegal or literally impossible because of various border controls or, you know, whatever it's to their own country, or they live here but you're not, you know, you can't walk around London besides for legally permitted reasons, and so therefore people want to see what it's like but they can't do it themselves. And so I really love that for people. I love sharing an experience that I enjoy watching with other people. But one of the experiences that you can get from this video, no matter what the lockdown situation, no matter what your geographic situation is walking around a city at night if you are roughly 50% of the population, right? It is a widely known adage that women cannot go outside at night. I mean, it's just too dangerous for them. And you know, I saw this viral post about this that's like, what's the first thing you do if you switch bodies? And the woman's response is, oh, if the moment I turn into a guy, I'm gonna walk around at night and just do whatever I want. And obviously that's like hyperbole, but it does hit on, at the very least, a very real concern that people have, which is also, it always looks like I'm not looking both ways when I cross the street because my GoPro's chest mounted. I assure you, I probably am sometimes. Anyway, one of the things about that fear that I find so interesting is like, there's this big widely known thing that like walking outside alone, fine if you're a guy, not fine if you're a woman. And there's probably some truth to that. Again, there's certain crimes, certain horrific crimes that are so bad you don't even want to have a 0.0001% chance on happening to you. And again, I'm not trying to downplay the experience of one of the genders here, but instead I'd like to point out that the problem with that, the reason I wanted to bring it up is because I think that there is this weird, you know, people, when statistics become a fun social rule rather than becoming the stat themselves, rather than it being like, oh yeah, you are 4 times more likely to be attacked if you're a woman than if you're a man on the street or whatever. Instead of that stat saying a stat, it becomes, oh yeah, you cannot go outside at night if you are one of the you know, genders, because it is so much more dangerous than if you are the other. And then that becomes, oh yeah, women can't go outside at night and men can. And I feel like that misses a lot of subtlety to walking around. You know, this is a big city. I'm pretty sure I'm fine in this video because I know where I'm going and stuff, but it misses the big subtlety that is like, how do crimes happen to people, especially the most prominent capital crimes, you know, the ones that give someone a life or most of a life sentence. How do those crimes happen to people? And the way we put it as a society is that like, oh yeah, you're outside and it just happens to you. And first of all, I feel like that reduces the agency of, again, 50% of the population. Again, the rule might be set out to help them, but when the rule stops being the stat and becomes, you know, like the made-up thing of like, yeah, there is just this danger zone, I think that causes problems. And also, it ignores that, even if it's more ridiculous, I think the vast majority of the population, not just half of it, is absolutely terrified of going outside at night. You know, like, first of all, old people, young people. Actually, not so many young people, but like, you know, you wouldn't let a child outside by themselves, sure. You wouldn't let old people sometimes get terrified going out by themselves. But the more interesting group than that is like, even if you're again, whatever society deems to be like strong and able to defend themselves, man, even then it's not fun to go outside. And like I would like to mention, I'm not in this group for the most part. When I know a place, again, I feel no fear walking around London, which is why one day I'll be stabbed and and then I'll have some fear walking around London again. But even though I have no particular fear, and I feel like I'm in a very small group when it comes to you know, this city in particular, but indeed when it comes to the entire act of walking around. Can't believe I crossed the street just to cross back. What a crazy human being I'm having to be today, huh? But the subtlety that is missed by that, and indeed, I guess most of my issues with the world are when we make a general rule for people who don't want to deal with subtleties, and then the subtleties are really important about that, and then we start making big decisions missing those subtleties. And again, in the case of like, I don't know, a murder, or, you know, just to say any crime, if it's 4 times more likely that you'll be, look at that street light over there. That is weird. If it's 4 times more likely that something bad will happen to you, then like, that's bad. But it still means that 20%, again, if you assume equal going out, it's actually not equal going out, so the stats don't work that way. It still means that 20% of things that happen are not to this one group. And so one of the, I guess this is a thing we do in so many of our discussions about the world, because it's easy to pick a glob, pick a group that are good, pick a glob, pick a group that are the bad ones, and then, you know, like analyze from there, work out the rest from there. But even though it's a great idea, man, that is an intense street light. How does that even happen? I recently learned that 1.5% of UK government spending is on street lighting, and I don't know if that's like really impressive that like, yeah, we spend so much on lights, or it's really sad that like, yeah, every time you pay the crazy high tax bills, you better believe 1.5% of that is going straight into those lights. But yeah, the thing that the subtlety that I feel like is missed. In fact, I think with everything, ways with subtleties. The subtleties here is like going outside at night feels scary to people for all sorts of reasons. What is the reason why? Is it because of the darkness itself? Because when you're in a city like this, it's dark outside, but is it really? Has it really been dark at any point in this video, would you say? I mean, darker than if it was light, but like, especially now we're crossing, I think this is Oxford Street. Yeah, this is Oxford Street. This is a major shopping district. You'd expect it to be more busy, but I hear there's something that's stopping that these days. Anyway, we're here in Oxford Circus right now. Look at this tiny alleyway. I need to follow this alleyway and see where this goes. But we're here in Oxford Circus, and you know, like, it's not actually dark. Even this literal alleyway that we're going down, you know, it's fine, right? It's a thin street. It's a thin street it's well lit because it's in the center of a city. So like, is it the darkness itself that is terrifying? Partially that. Is it? Okay, so like, okay, we got the darkness on there, and then like, okay, is it the type of person that goes outside at night? You know, during the day, everyone's going to or from a job usually, or some leisure activity. But like, people who go outside at night for their leisure activities, you know, that's like a different class of person. Is it a fear of people based on their hobbies? I mean, if you walk around at night, I mean, especially right now, like, there's lots of people who like go around, you know, just they go for a walk in a hoodie, having a drink, maybe some other less legal ways to get drugs in their body. You know, if they do that, is that what you're terrified of? Is it instead the fact that like, yeah, when you go outside at night, the only people out there are people who aren't terrified of the night, people who don't respect the social construct that we don't go outside at night because it is scary. Is that what it is? I honestly don't know. I honestly, in fact, I do know it though. It's like, it's some combination of all of those things, right? When you separate a problem down to its bare components, each of those components is so much easier to fix, in my opinion. I think when we have really complex issues, you need to, you know, keeping it complex is great, but when you're trying to solve a complex issue, you need to strip it down piece by piece. And I think the truth is we don't have a political system that is set up really to do that in the slightest. I think we have a political system that is set up for simple sound bites, you know? And therefore, and you know, the way, not only is the way that information is shared, you know, like not only is the way laws are passed, etc., coming down from that, but also, I think we share information with each other in snippets. So recently, let me tell you about something fascinating. There's so much news that no one ever really follows all day, every day about lockdown laws. People don't read it, they don't follow it, it's fine. Like, people who are really into it, they'll follow it, and then, you know, like, you get that. But the one thing, every single person, so many people have like told me about this, like it's interesting. So many people have told me about, the UK has got a £5,000 fine if you leave the UK without a valid reason. And the valid reasons include legal reasons, work, tending to a property, medical, and I'm sure there's some others on the list. But basically, if you don't have a valid reason to leave, in other words, if you go on holiday, you get a £5,000 fine. That piece of news, that like that single snippet has been shared so many times. It's the most read story, or the 6th most read story on BBC right now, as I record this video. But just that snippet by itself, again, even the depth of, oh yeah, you can leave the holiday for these reasons. Just the snippet, go on holiday, get £5,000 fine, is the thing that comes out. And in reality, what it is if you don't submit a form saying why you've left the country, the fine is £200. And in reality, you're not going to submit a form that says I'm going on holiday, which would give you the £5,000 fine. You'd either not submit the form, or you would lie on the form. I'm sure there's some penalty for lying on it. You know, the actual, and also we don't know what's the actual enforcement rates, and you know, all the details, all the things that actually matter. That's not what people share. They share going on holiday is illegal, mate, till July. Yeah, it's proper worrying, that is. Whenever there is any, I feel this way all the time, that like we get the tiniest, slimmest glimpse of the truth, and then we share that because it feels smart when you understand. Like, no one wants to not understand the truth. We all want to understand how things are perfectly. Like, not knowing about a particular area is not a widely respected policy. Not like, again, so many people have repeated, you know, there was an American election recently, and so even though I'm not in America, people are like, wow, yeah, let me tell you about this great thing. There is, you know, like, and they'll give me all sorts of talking points about their guy, and how it's literally impossible to vote for the other person. And it's like, yeah, nice, good job there. I'm glad you've got some real open options there, that you heard one piece of knowledge, and then you're like, wow, there is objectively a great candidate and objectively a terrible one based on this one piece of knowledge. I don't need to follow any news anymore. I don't need to follow any of these. I don't need to actually understand what they're going to do, because I already know there's one that's going to kill all the LGBTQ people, and there's one that's going to, you know, let in all the Mexicans, or whatever crazy theories both sides say all the time. And it's like, that disappoints me. And what disappoints me is when people then internalize those things. Like, I actually do think, you know, doing this, going down these streets right here, I'd say, like, whatever, it's fine, regardless of your gender, probably. Walking down some dark streets alone probably is less smart if you're a woman, partially because the significantly increased rate of crime or whatever. Again, all the crimes that you don't like, let's not name them. Let's just say there is more crimes if you don't than if you do. I walk down this street so often, and I never want to. I just end up on this street, and there's never anything I want open. It's so annoying. I was going to try and get a cookie or something on the way home. There was a Five Guys back there. I should probably go back to the Five Guys. What am I doing not eating Five Guys? This is anyway. So my point is, like, that's probably valid enough. I think the fear is a big enough reason. I think the crime rate is a big enough reason. But I think the subtlety that's missed is that, like, actually most guys are terrified to do the same thing too. Like, I think what's actually more powerful is, one, groups of people, regardless of their gender, are going to add some power. There is definitely a sad but true reality that, like, you add one guy to a group and sadly other guys will respect the group more. That's a separate, real, important issue. Sure, yeah. There is the real issue, the important issue too. But there is the real issue that, like, yeah, certain guys do feel more safe and therefore have more access to the world, which includes more access to the world to then go out and commit crimes against those very same people who are terrified. Yeah, that's real. That's an issue. Let's work out how not that, you know. Let's work out how everyone can be safe, and then also how everyone can feel safe. I actually wonder, you know, I wonder how much of a problem can be solved by everyone thinking the problem is solved. Like, there are lots of problems that are made worse if everyone thinks there is no problem. If you think there is no problem, oh, by the way, Dianetics and Scientology, this looks like a weird knockoff. This is actually the Scientology place in London, and I find that beyond fascinating. And now you do too. If you don't find that interesting, how do you not? It's Dianetics and Scientology, but in real life. veganuary giving you the meat sweats, then call this helpline. How is this TM? How is any of that TM? Can someone call this number and then let me know in the comments down below what it is? I need to know. I need to know. Anyway, my battery's running low. So I want to finish with the grand point that I think I know, like, it's annoying that you can't discuss some issues without being seen to minimalize them or something like that. Because actually discussing issues, even if you're having a grand discussion, even if you are disagreeing, I feel like having that discussion is better. Whereas if you convince people that you're going to shut them down because your side is correct and there is not a single shred of evidence you can believe otherwise, I think you actually make the debate worse. I think there's definitely an extreme end range off that, right? There is definitely a place where you've gone too far down on the... I think there's a place where you can go too far towards like letting extreme fringe views that don't even make any sense in there. Sure, I totally understand. There is a, just like anything in life, there is a certain amount of moderation you need to fit in there, or it goes too crazy. Sure, I get you. Also interesting that there's just like one store that all the homeless tents are outside of. It was interesting. It felt very LA-like. Anyway, I think that there is a big problem with simplifications sometimes, and I don't even know how you'd fix it, because I do understand people have not that much time to understand everything, and people want to understand everything, and so they go for the easy version of it. It's the same reason I love McDonald's. I don't have time to sit down at a restaurant and wait 30 minutes for them to cook me a burger. What I want is I want to go into a store, go, I'll have that one, give them, whack them a couple quid, and then they'll hand me a double cheeseburger, and I'll be on my way. It's going to be the most predictable meal in the world, but it's going to be fine. And we have that version of so many things. You know, you want that version of catching up with your friends. Oh, what have your friends been up to? Go check out their Facebook profile, find out there. Oh yeah, here are the positive things in their life in the last 6 months. It's the budget version. And I think one of the things we're realizing, or not realizing, look at that store there, Michael Coffee, or Michael Coffee. So such an interesting design store. There's one of the smallest IKEAs I've ever seen. It's deep in the center of the city. Oh, it's a planning studio, so you don't buy from there, you just plan. Interesting. Anyway, did you know there's an IKEA restaurant somewhere in London? I'd love to show you sometime. I think I should go down a dark street if I'm going to finish this video, because it's not impressive if I'm like walking down well-lit main roads, right? Yeah, this is terrible. You know what you want to see if you were in control of my body for an evening is you'd want to walk down some dark alleyways, safe in the knowledge that your odds of being crimed on are significantly lower. They're down by at least 75%. And honestly, 75% down, basically as good as gone, right? 75% down means no more issues for anyone anymore. I think this is a dead end. I always remember I try to turn right off the street, and I never end up going where I want to go. But yeah, my battery's low. I've had a full day of recording today. So I'm just gonna finish this video by saying thank you for watching. I think I made my point poorly, and when you make your point poorly,